Well, I finally made it to Manila. I was packed in an airplane like a sardine for 20 hours with one stopover. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you ought to go business class." Business class, uh, well, to make a long story short, business class cost $150 an hour more to be in a bigger seat with a better recline. And for that price, I'll take sardine tourist class. And that's what I did. Now that torture is over, and we're in wonderful BGC. That stands for Bonifacio Global City, which is the nicest part of Manila. Well, to me it is. There's other more residential parts with big houses, but this is apartments. And I like it because you don't have to have a car. You can take the elevator down, and across the street is the biggest and best shopping malls you've ever seen in the world. I've been all over the world, and these shopping centers here are unbelievable. There's nothing you can't buy in Manila. After all, it's a city of maybe 25 million people, so this is a really big town, bigger than anything in America. So, first of all, well, I was going to say this town, Manila, gets a very bad rap from people who talk about tourism. They say it's full of slums and robbery and crime. No, if you're in a good neighborhood, there's none of that. Now here, I just want you to have a kind of a little bit of a panorama here of what we see. Okay? Now, one of the things we're seeing here is the Memorial Cemetery of World War II, which came from all the fallen Americans who liberated this country in 1945 from the Japanese. A lot of people died, as you can see. And for me, to be overlooking this nice amount of greenery is great. The reason is that the town is a bit polluted, as you can see in the distance. But here, it's generates a lot of oxygen. And if you have a view over this, which many apartments do, you get clean air. Now, if you aim the camera down, you'll see this is kind of a slum city right next to a very luxurious high-end apartment. But, we've been in it. It's quite nice. The slums are slums. Okay, now get back on me. Slow, 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 always slow. All right, that's enough. Okay, now we're gonna, I guess we don't want to be in the sun. Okay. So, what I wanted to tell you was that maybe the rest of this video I'm going to talk about real estate and real estate prices. Prices here go by the square meter, and it's about 2,000 US dollars per square meter for a luxury place. Try 1/4 of that in a crappy area, but a nice two-bedroom apartment will cost you between 250,000 and 300,000, which is a lot cheaper than Monte Carlo or Paris or London or New York. So with that, we're going to take a little more panorama of the local skyscrapers, and then we're going to go downstairs and have a walk around to show you what Manila is like. This place it's more modern, not more modern, but it's the same as Singapore. Really, really nice. The restaurants, you can't complain about the restaurants there. You can get any food you want. Himalayan, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, great food here. And no shortage of beautiful women, always available, and we're going to see you when we get downstairs. Hi. Well, now we're downstairs, and you might think that we're in Venice, Italy, if you looked at the architecture right behind me, but we're in a place called McKinley. Now, McKinley, the name was the name of the president of the USA when the Philippines was an American colony. But we're going to go around Venice, Manila. Now, I want to show you this building here, and then we're going to go through the entrance and we're going to look at the Rialto Bridge. Can you believe that? The Rialto Bridge of Venice, and the canal, the Grand Canal of Venice, and it even has gondolas, just like in Venice. I'm not sure if they sing or not, but maybe they do. They probably, yeah, they might even sing in Italian, who knows? So here we are in Venice of Manila. And you see behind me the map of this place. We're going to look at the Rialto Bridge in just a few seconds, so stay tuned. But the topic of this video is going to be everything you need to know about real estate and real estate prices in Manila. Manila is a bit different than the entire Philippines, which is a lot cheaper. But let's now go and look at the Rialto Bridge. Here we are at the Rialto Bridge, not in Venice, but in beautiful Manila. So don't let you be put off by people who say Manila isn't great. Now here, I'm going to turn around so you get that with the gondola. Wow. And now we're going to sit down and talk about real estate in Manila. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything there is to know about Manila real estate. Now, just like anywhere in the world, the three most important things are location, location, and location. And guess what? Like in anywhere in the world, the top location here will cost you 4 times as much as the similar size apartment in a not so good location. And if you go into the slums, try a 90% discount. Okay. So, here in the Philippines, the prices are always quoted in per square meters. So they range in the best neighborhood to 3,000 or 4,000 US dollars per square meter. So if you want to apply that to average 2-bedroom, good size apartment of 100 meters, that might be 400,000 or even 500,000 in a neighborhood with a really good view. Now, what's a good view? Some people want a view of a park, nice and green, and you can get that here in many places, or a golf course. And you could also get a beautiful sea view. There's plenty of high-rise apartments right on the sea, and you can get a beautiful view of the famous Manila Bay Harbor, where Admiral Dewey around 1904 landed the first American ship that took out the Spanish Navy. So there's a lot of history here, and as I said before, this used to be an American colony, and therefore it's the only place in Asia where English is one of the 2 official languages. So almost everybody, certainly everybody in business, speaks English. So that is a huge advantage if you don't speak Chinese or Vietnamese or Korean. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to warn you about is that in this city, developers put up a new luxury building. And as soon as the apartments are sold out, the original developer leaves, the beautiful landscaping dies, and the apartments and the whole building goes to trash. We once rented a place at the Mall of Asia, and it was wonderful. We came back 5 years later. It was a high-rise, but it was a slum. Cockroaches and broken doors, and broken sidewalks, broken elevators. So what you want to do in this town is have a really good developer that keeps looking after the property long after it's built. And I would recommend highly Ayala. They have a bunch of apartment buildings called Surrendra, and one of the reasons they're pretty well maintained is they don't allow in and out tenants for 1 and 2 days. You have to lease there for 6 months. So keep in mind that Surrendra and Ayala are really good developers. Now, if you want an unobstructed, beautiful view, you're going to pay about 30% more than looking at a wall. And on a high floor with a good view, you'll pay another 10%, maybe even 20%. Now, should you get a leasehold or a freehold? Well, we're interested in a 50-year lease because, in my opinion, 30 years from now, any condominium, even the Ayala ones, are going to be pretty much out of date, and they've reached the end of their economic useful life. So whether you get a lease or a freehold doesn't matter too much, except that the lease is a lot, maybe 20-30% less expensive. Now, how about the taxes? If you're from America, where the taxes and maintenance on a property is about 6% a year of the value, so on a $1 million apartment, you pay $60,000 a year just to own it. While here, try more like 1%. Taxes and syndicate fees for management are very, very low here. Okay. How about rental income? If you manage your own apartment and you have Airbnb, you can expect to make about 15 to 20% on the total value of the apartment per year net profit. But if you let the building management do it, try 2 to 5%. Why? Because if there's 100 units for rent in the building, and half are owner units, owner-occupied, that they're supposed to rent, of course they're always going to rent their units first and your unit last. And therefore, you're going to be making more than you're full. Okay, now the most popular unit in this town would be a studio, which would be 20 meters on average to 30 square meters. And just has a little kitchen, a little toilet, a bed, a couch, and here in this town, you might find a whole family of mama, daddy, and a couple kids in a studio. The studios start in a good building at about 100,000 US dollars and go up to about 150,000. Then there'd be a one bedroom, which I like because at least mommy and daddy can go in the bedroom and close the door and get a little privacy. And if somebody wants to play computer games and make noise in the living room, it isn't so bad. Now, another thing to watch out for is what I call the white man swindle. If you're a white guy or new in the Philippines, you get a different price because everybody thinks even a garbage man back in Europe or America is a millionaire. So my advice is rent. Don't try buying the minute you get here. Rent for a couple months, get acclimated, talk to a lot of sellers. I call it the 100 house rule. You don't have to look at 100 properties, but a couple of dozen at least. And if you do that, you'll get a good feeling of the prices and the negotiability. Never give the offering price. You'll always get at least a 10% discount, and maybe like we, on a distressed property that was a mortgage foreclosure, you'll get it for maybe 30 or even 40% below the asking price of a brand new vacant unit. So I always look for distressed property. Now, supposing you don't like high-rise apartments, if you like seclusion, you can get a whole island all for yourself for about the same price as a high-rise studio, not a studio, a high-rise two-bedroom in a good neighborhood. So what you want to do, if you want seclusion, there's plenty of listings, and you just go to Property for Sale Philippines, and it'll let you choose villas, apartments, houses, beachfront, whatever you want, and you look at a lot, and you make appointments, and you go looking at these places. So once again, look at plenty of properties, rent before buying, and safety. I'll close on that note. BGC and McKinley, where we are here at the I Love Venice place. McKinley, very safe. You never hear of robberies, not even pickpockets. Of course, you should always be careful anywhere. But here, in these neighborhoods, there are plenty of police, tourist police they call them, and you're very, very safe. We once rented at a place called Rockwell, where they have wonderful buildings, but once you walk a couple blocks away from the buildings, they call it the power plant Rockwell, lots of shops, you don't ever have to walk away, but you walk 3 or 4 blocks away, it's not safe. So if you're ever here in Manila and you want to get in touch with me, you know my mailing address, peter-gmail.com. So contact me and we'll maybe help you find your dream place. So that's Peter, P-E-T-E-R, Karadash, no space, P-A-R-A-D-A-S-H, at gmail.com. Hope to hear from you, and don't forget to subscribe, because once I get to 1 million subscribers, which should only take me about 150 years, I start to make some money from YouTube. And with that, I think we'll say hasta luego. Wait. Before I say hasta luego, goodbye, our next video is going to be about restaurants in Manila and the huge variety of ethnic food you can get here. So be sure to watch the very next video. And for now, it's adios. Bye-bye. This is a little PS. I had a kind of a bad experience with Mega World. A friend of mine bought an apartment from Mega World and then wanted to sell it, but it took them 2 years to give them the necessary title so that he could sell it. I think they intentionally delayed it, getting title, because they wanted to sell their own units first. And then another experience was we learned that they sold apartments abroad to overseas workers and told them, when you come to the Philippines, you'll take possession, give us 20% down, and you'll get a mortgage. And they couldn't get a mortgage, so good old Mega World kept the deposit. Well, that was good for cash buyers who could get a discount, but it wasn't so good for the poor overseas worker who lost their deposit. So I wanted to say I love Ayala, I don't like Mega World.